Trump standing his ground against China in the escalating trade battle, even as Beijing vows to strike back against any additional tariffs. The president says he is confident the U.S. economy is strong enough to withstand any retaliation, but for how long? We bring in Tori Whiting. She's an economist at the Heritage Foundation, and she joins us now. Tori, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren.
How long does this go on? Do you think the president does go through with that 10% tariff on $300 billion September 1st?
Well, it's pretty clear to me that the president is wanting to move forward with those tariffs. And what's really unique about this situation versus others in terms of this trade war is that China did not wait for the tariffs to be imposed to retaliate in terms of announcing that they are not going to be doing ag purchases anymore, and who knows what else is next. But there's definitely a significant escalation. But what is really getting missed in all of this discussion is what does this mean for the American people?
Higher prices for things. And then we have this report out of China this morning that shows unexpectedly their exports grew 3.3% in July. What do you make of that? Is that because of the weaker currency there, or what?
Well, I think the currency is kind of set aside from this. What's mostly, I would imagine, happening is that China is finding other export markets, just like the United States is finding other export markets, to try and make up some of the difference when it comes to things not getting traded with one another. So, for example, with soybeans, the U.S. has been trying to sell more to the EU. That doesn't make up for the losses with China, but at least helps with some things.
So help us make sense of all of this, Tori. What is the end goal? Is it just that, the decoupling of the two economies? We find our own supply chains that don't rely on one another? How long does this go on for?
Well, I think the strategy should be a resolving of the issues. I mean, trade between the United States and China is mutually beneficial for the people in both countries. Americans benefit from the freedom to buy from China, and the Chinese benefit from the freedom to buy from America. If the strategy is decoupling, I think that is very troublesome for the future of the U.S. economy, and it will be a slow and painful process for these supply chains to be changed. And that, that doesn't spell well for us in terms of productivity, efficiency, and competitive prices.
And in the meantime, are we stuck with this 2%, the Obama-style growth that the economy saw, where we were looking at 4%, potentially 5% before all of this?
President Trump should absolutely be paying attention to these growth numbers. It is not a coincidence that these growth numbers are low following a year and a half or so of this trade policy. When you have deregulation the way that it's been and tax policy the way that it's been under this administration, the clear outlier is a turn away from free trade. And if we could get that change, I think that we could see the growth get back up to a good place.
Final question, remaining 20 seconds here, Tori. What is one thing the U.S. or China could do to just restart negotiations and potentially get something done? A lot of people are saying President Trump should say, you know what, we're not going to go through with that 10% tariff.
I think that would be a great start. I think both sides need to lower their weapons and agree to restart talks in good faith.
Okay. Tori Whiting, thank you very much.
Thank you.